we go.
Oh, you're tripping.
Always.
Back with another episode. He said always. But yeah, man. So again, the festivities were good. How was your mom and everything? Everybody was good. Family was good.
Yeah, everyone was good. We all had a good time. We had a venison. We had venison for dinner, and everyone enjoyed themselves from the sounds of it.
That's what's up, man. And that's the whole point of it, right? Like in any situation, like if you're fortunate to have your parents in your life in that regard, bro, and you can still celebrate them, it's necessary, man. Super necessary.
Amen. Yeah, especially if you have that ability to like they're still like within like a driving distance to go hang out and whatnot. You know what I mean? As opposed to like live in another country or something like that. I know some people like that too.
Yeah, and that it's best you try to make it work any way you can, whether it's now that we have the technology to at least do video calls. But yeah, if you can visit them, like even me, like after we're done recording here, like I'm definitely gonna go and see my parents because yeah, man, you get some news and you get some good news, you get some bad news, you get some neutral news, and you say to yourself, you just shit, I'm tripping. You just basically you gotta take it all in and just take it in stride and make the most of it when it comes to parents, in my opinion.
Well, I'm waiting on news right now with this, so I feel ya.
Straight up, you already got your X-ray and things of that nature. So
I'm just good. Waiting. Literally tomorrow, I find out if I have to have. I think I have to have if I have to have surgery or not. That's it.
I feel you. Well, obviously, best wishes. You know, hopefully you're fortunate in that regard. And if it is a matter of surgery, then you know,
it ain't no
the
thing,
rehab.
Man.
The rehab should go well, but. It's a good learning lesson overall, though, right? I would assume.
Literally every morning waking up, it's just like, oh, this feels weird, and it's like, oh,
yeah. I got a big ass cast on my whole situation, just a huge cast. But hey, man, at the same time, hey, I've said it before. I think where it's like sometimes life forces you to calm down in whatever you were doing. So it's like whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, like job wise, career wise, whatever. Yeah, man.
It's also it also was like literally something that was a throwback to an old episode is a loss, a lesson, and this is a big fucking lesson and a big fucking loss right now. Well, not a big loss, but like a loss of mobility, basically, and like that, which is a big loss in some regard. I can't play guitar.
No, for real.
Until this comes off, I can't play guitar. So yeah, that's a loss in a sense right there.
True.
But like it's just funny. I hate that like that has to come back to that, but it's like, oh yeah, this is like one of those situations where it's like, yes, this is a literal lesson, and like at the same time it's because of a loss. Like not like a loss, but like just a loss of control and a loss of like will of like doing better, basically. And here we are.
Yeah, man. Boy, I guess it's all how you perceive it, and the fact that you're going to look at it from a standpoint of it's a loss / lesson versus just a loss, as if at least it's not a permanent loss. Yeah, man. Keep pushing through, and obviously you're going to be fortunate enough to. I believe you're still young enough to be to heal properly after said surgery and stuff. So it's like just got to take it in stride. But yeah, even again, it's you hear certain news like that makes one want to get frustrated, angry, and potentially do certain things that can hurt themselves, and it sucks. But it's like that's just I'm realizing in my late 20s, going towards my 30s, that's just kind of what it is. And it's like to anyone listening, it's just like, yeah, man, like you don't got to put on a front for anybody, and if you're gonna be kicking it and doing your thing with somebody, just kind of keep it G, man, keep it genuine. Like try not to be fake. Like do your best. It's not about like maybe you might not want to divulge all your crazy, like because we've talked about that on previous episodes. Like give them a little bits and pieces of you, and that's cool. But yeah, man, try not to be fake out here. And if you're gonna be on somebody's team, in my opinion, like hopefully you can just have like a level head while doing that process, because getting angry because of what you might see or what you might hear or whatever the case is, or what you're fortunate to be privy to hear or whatever the case is, like you got to take that shit sacred, in my opinion, because
I agree.
it's like you kind of it's a privilege, in my opinion, to be in those types of positions. You know what I mean? Like
It really is, like, especially if somebody takes you into like their confidence like that and tells you some like shit like that, and it's like, yo, this is who I am, and like how you can, like, I've never understood like people who turn around and like weaponize it or do like, I don't know, bullying or some other things like that. You know what I mean? It just like, even as a kid, I never understood that, and now especially as an adult now, I really don't get it. Like, oh man, like
no, because it's one of those things that I'm like, you can have a conversation with a woman who you might be trying to link up with or whatever, or even one of the male, like one of your friends that's a male or whatever. Building those levels of trust or confidence or whatever it could be real hard to do, and it's understandable because you might go through something with somebody prior and they might have hurt you, and now you're super frustrated, so you don't want to let someone else in. But at the same time, I know it might sound real like naive or whatever to say, but sometimes you got to let people in. Like you got to, like, because they're not that last person who might have hurt you, unfortunately, right? So it's like if you're very loving in your approach towards them, like you said, like it's just like we got to try our best to be like understanding that people aren't always trying to hurt you or bully you or use information that you might give them to harm you. No one's like, not everyone has those types of evil ulterior motives. Like, and it's something that we can all face when trying to engage with a woman, or trying to, even if you're trying to talk to one of the male friends or whatever, one of your homies. I don't know. It's just something I've noticed as I'm getting older as well.
man, it's trauma, man. It's like, it's real.
Yeah.
Like it's really hard for, like, especially to like, there's degrees to it, obviously, we could like, of like how bad some things have happened, but like, man, like it's real, it really fucking gets in the way of a lot of like connection, like making like genuine connections and stuff like that. And there's no other way to do it, but you just have to unfuck yourself from it, and you have to figure out some, like, you have to like get better from it. And it's not going to be it's never an overnight thing. It's going to take time, and unfortunately, like, you got to do it. It's kind of like fuck, what's it, I'm trying to think of the word for it, but like building, like jumping off a cliff and kind of like building the parachute on the way down sort of thing. It's kind of like you're trying to like figure out this, like how to like fix the stuff in free fall while you're still trying to keep moving. And there's no other way to do that unless you want to crash and start again and do that. Like, otherwise you have to fix it in midair, basically. Like, so it's
that's
tough,
what it is.
it's tough. It's really tough, man.
No, it's like that's literally what it is, bro. There's it's funny because I was watching. No, we'll probably get to this a little later, but I was watching like the movie, the Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, like the cartoon one, bro. The main like line where he basically like, oh, how will I know that I'm gonna be ready to be Spider-Man? And then the older Spider-Man that's helping him out is just like, yo, it's a leap of faith. But it's kind of what it is, whether it's like a relationship, a new career choice, a new choice of I'm gonna move to a new city, like just anything new, so to speak. It's like a leap of faith, so to speak. You might have done a little research or whatever the case is beforehand into what you're doing, but granted, if you're dealing with something as intricate as a person or as nuanced as a person, yeah, man, it's gonna take some time for you to get to know that person. But beyond that, like, I guess like to fully develop that trust. But I feel like when you give them that trust, because it's like it's only on them to more or less disrupt it, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you give them that trust at the earlier stage of, like, once you like are like, yo, I want to be with this person, they want to be with me, let's move to the next step, kind of thing, right? You want to give them that trust because it's like it's only on them, in my opinion, to quote unquote break that, or on you to quote unquote break that, right? Like, so once nobody breaks that, like the trust is always there. That's like the whole point of having that trust or whatever, right? But it's
Exactly.
when you it's when you hold. It's like it's when you, in my opinion, like say again, this is in a like quote unquote perfect scenario where you know you want to be with a person. I'm saying if you're gonna hold that like trust from them, so to speak, you're not going to feel comfortable with them ever because you're going to always feel like, oh, I just told this person some personal information. What if he uses it against me? Or what if she uses it against me? It's like,
You're
nah,
always
like
waiting for
I
that
have no
shoe to
intention on
drop.
it. So it's like, but when you have that trust in them, once they actually do, once the shoe actually does drop, to use that expression, then it's like, okay, unfortunately, this person broke my trust. I gave it to him full heartedly. I wasn't holding back, and now he broke it or she broke it. Okay, now we got to do some rebuilding if that's what we're choosing to do, or now I got to split if that's what. But to not, like in my opinion, to not give them any trust in the beginning, like when you know that person's right for you, is kind of hard, bro, because
Yeah.
you're kind of always doubting yourself. In my opinion, you're kind of always doubting yourself, right?
You said it best, man. It is a leap of faith. Like you really, there's no other way to do it but just fucking do it. Like you can't like you can't, you're just literally just wavering on the edge at that point. You're like, oh, do I want to like dipping your toe in and whatnot? You can't. You got to just do it. You just have to jump in. And sometimes you may get burned, and other times it may be the best thing you ever did in your life. So
Right.
you don't know until you do it. And I wish there was a way where you could just say, oh, pause, let me see what this looks like in the future, sort of thing. Or that would be like ideal, but like we don't have that. So we just have to work with what we have, and what we have is the present. And like we've
Yeah,
always said, like we've like this podcast may as well be the present talk. Like it's literally all about this moment right now until the next moment. So you have to take this moment as it comes. So you take this moment, and if this is the time to make this jump, you make the jump now because you've gone with what you've gone from this point. And it's either you do it or you don't. That's it.
yeah. There is no in between, and that's a beautiful way of looking at it. It's you genuinely within anything you're trying to do, whether it was a career change, a partner choice, a dog selection, a cat selection, whatever. You got to just do it or not. Hey, it's not for me, or yeah, I'm all in. Because once you are in that kind of shaky in the middle thing, it's like, come on, especially when you've already like just using an example of like a relationship or whatever. If you've already divulged certain personal information and you genuinely care about this person, or if something happened to that person, you know you'd feel bad, or damn, what happened to such and such? I didn't tell them all that I wanted to tell them, or whatever, right? You can't then go back and be like, but no, I only half like them, because it's like at this point of the game, you've kind of not committed, but it's like you've kind of both shared certain intimate details where you're like, yo, I'm at a certain level of trust with this person. To then later say, nah, I'm gonna not trust this person, even though it's like you've already shared certain intimate details that you've never shared with anyone else, using that as an example. Why would you then? It's just, it's wild to think, like, we kind of put so many blockages opposed to like just either doing it or not. We put so many blockages that stop us from doing shit that shit might be the best thing for us. So I don't know.
It's that fear of like, I don't want to get burned again, man. Like it's real. Like it's something that we have like as an instinct, like to survive. Like it's what keeps us from falling out of windows and shit like that. Cause we know like, or don't touch the stove because it's hot. Like it's like it's like it all funnels back to that, but it's in relation to like a social situation or like it's weird. It's really weird how it all works like back to that. But once again, it's like you don't want to put yourself through that pain that you went through the last time. You don't want to have to put yourself through all the bullshit and everything else that went through that last time. But once again, could be the best thing that ever happened, and you just have to go for
No,
it.
and that's the thing, it's elite, because it's like just kind of, and it sucks that sometimes that's how us as humans are programmed, where it's like it doesn't matter, we still carry that situation or that trauma, because it's not that we're carrying the experience, it's that we're only carrying some of us are only carrying the negative parts of said experience into the next one. And it's like, you can't, in my opinion, it's like you can't do that stuff, because once you're doing that, again, you're already putting this person in a place that another person previously was. And unfortunately, they're not that. And although we're saying like, oh, they might be the best person for you, even if they're not the best person for you, but there's somebody who you also can learn something from, you're still putting them at a disadvantage before the race even starts, so to speak. Why would you want to
Exactly.
put them back 5 or 10 yards? Like when they're opposed to everyone starting at an equal playing field. It's just a weird concept that I have to keep juggling or like grasping and trying to like I'm fighting within my own brain to be like I don't understand it. Not to say that I'm perfect in any way, shape, or form. I'm saying it from a standpoint of if I'm going to try to have a conversation with you or try to move forward with you, that's dope as fuck. Or if I'm going to try to jump into a new job, or if I'm going to try to jump into a bro, I got to trip out and look at this new job. Like I can't be like, oh shit, there's going to be bullshit here like every other job. Yeah, there might be, but if I look at it like that immediately when I start, I'm gonna be miserable the day I start, kind of thing. Like it's just in my opinion. I don't know if anyone else. I hope the listeners can grasp that shit, but fuck, man, like it's different.
It's and honestly, I can attest to that right now because like even with my relationship right now, I've realized I've kind of done some of that. Like it's like I haven't like done like I'm always it's always a work in progress, but it's just like I know I haven't like I still am carrying that bad part of the last one and I'm still putting it here and it's not fair because she's not like that at all. Like at all, at all, at all. So it's just like it's just that matter of catching yourself and going, hold on, hold on, hold on. You got to recognize what you're doing here and on like not doing it basically and just trying to like figure it's really hard. There's no one-to-one solution for it, but it's just a matter of like being aware of like putting that off, putting that energy off onto someone else or putting that, like you said, like, oh, this is going to be like the last one, just straight bullshit. Like it could be like, I've had that experience 9 times out of 10, but like the last one wasn't the one, you know what I mean? So like, it is what it is. Like you just
that
have
kind
to.
of leads me. It's beautiful that you say that because at the same time, recognizing that somebody is dope as fuck and they're a person that you genuinely have like you attracted that or in some way shape or form attracted that into your existence or attracted that into your solar system, so to speak, and this person wants to kick it with you and you want to kick it with them and you being able to recognize, okay, I am not going to unfairly treat this person or I have to keep catching myself before I unfairly treat this person. That's still self-growth, yo. Like that's still a little bit of self-growth. Not saying, again, no one's perfect. You might still, unfortunately, whatever, have an outburst or whatever, but to be able to catch yourself and genuinely like let her understand, like, hey, I am not trying to mistreat you. I am not trying to harm you because that's not what you deserve, kind of thing, is totally different than like being in a situation where you recognize it, but you don't really do anything about it. And especially if whoever chooses to be able to recognize that and say, hey, you're getting better at this, this, and this, and I'm glad because I'm noticing it, blah, blah, blah. And you have those conversations, that shit is dope too, right? It's all a
Or
part
it's
of the
even worse
process
if
of
you
you getting better.
it's even worse if you can't recognize it or don't recognize it because like you just don't have that, you're not looking for it or you're just not like grasping the concept of like you've got some fucking issues here, dude. Like you gotta like be able to like have a handle on that. Like nobody's perfect, everyone's fucked up and everyone's working on things. It's just the degree of how bad they are and how far along they're willing to like or what they're doing to make themselves better basically.
Yeah,
Like
and that's the beauty of that's a dope thing though, because if you although unfortunately not being able to recognize certain things or recognize the need for growth, obviously that's an issue. But if you're fortunate to have people around you who can assist you in those matters and you're willing to listen in that regard or willing to change or at least try to change, like seek help. And if the process doesn't work, unfortunately, because like you said, there's no one-to-one solution for everything out there. But if they at least are willing to try, in my opinion, that's something that we still push for, like whoever it is, for like the fact that people are sometimes they're disturbed, unfortunately, for whatever reason, for whatever trauma that they may have faced, whether it's from younger years or from just recent adulthood or whatever. Bro, it's different, man. Like, because we all have to take our time and try to put the pieces back together. Because it's like an analogy is like dropping a glass cup and like you being able to glue it back together and still being able to drink from it, but it's not perfectly put back together, kind of thing, right?
it's
You
never gonna
you
be.
you, you might so you but you still if it's still a functioning cup after you do said repairs, and it's the only cup you have, aka you're the only you have, like you still make do and make sure like, hey, yeah, I might have fell and been broken before, but I don't need to fall again. And at the same time, I'm a lot more careful, a lot more cautious, et cetera, et cetera. And I'm gonna move that way from now on. But it's all about how you grow from said losses or quote unquote lessons, right?
Exactly. It really is like about how it's not about it's the whole boxing thing. It's not about getting knocked down. It's about getting back up again. And it's about just not, and it's just literally about like you're getting knocked down, but getting back up and not like not wanting to like knock down on somebody, like not getting knocked down onto somebody else. You know what I mean? Like falling on someone else as well too. And
yeah, man,
a lot of people have that. And like I said, a lot of people, myself included, are struggling with that still, but here we are building as we go.
You got to keep, because like if you're going to keep building opposed to destruction, because again, like it's kind of the opposite, right? Like build or destroy. So if you're going to keep building, like that's good on you, right? We all have to take our time. Like even me, like I don't care. Like to the people listening, I gotta trip out because I'm trying to go to university, so I gotta trip out and upgrade marks and shit, like high school marks and shit. So I'm looking at it from a standpoint of I'm not out here to try to, and don't get me wrong, I'm in a great job right now, like career, I could say, but it doesn't mean that I'm quote unquote satisfied or I don't ever want to learn or et cetera, et cetera. But I got to drop pride and like humble myself because people can look at it like, well, yeah, man, you're heading towards a new decade. You're a bit older. Why do you want to go to school? It's like, because you can never stop training your brain. You can never stop training this. If you can keep going, keep reading amazing books, bro, never stop. Anything that stops growing, in my opinion, is dead. So you gotta keep. I don't care if you're still technically living, you're dead on the inside. Like keep growing, keep going, keep building. So as long as you're not destroying, you all right in my book. You know what I mean?
Amen. Couldn't said it any better there, sir. Holy hell! Like,
but yeah,
even
man.
if you're not in school, like just literally reading and just like doing things to like better yourself and like keep yourself sharp, because like fuck, you gotta out here. There's too many morons out here, and I hate to be ableist like that, but there's way too many morons out here.
People who, they have the ability to pick up a book, but they just genuinely choose not to, or the ability to
right,
hit the
everything.
or whatever.
Yeah,
literally, you can download.
Right,
you can just go on the internet and download mad books if you want to. I still grab a 1-2 physical copy because I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes you might want to. I mean, I know it's COVID and everything, or seeded. I'm not trying to just be saying certain words, but yeah, bro. Sometimes you might want to hand it off a physical copy to someone. Yo, man, read this, enjoy. And when they give it back to you, and the book page are all creased up and shit, and you understand that they enjoyed the shit out that book, and they was writing maybe not writing notes because it's still your property, but either way, they enjoyed the shit out that experience. Either way, it's like, yeah, man, it's just a matter of the educate yourself, keep growing, keep building.
This fucking thing has literally access to everything, like not just like books. I'm talking about like anything you need to know is like you can literally find it somewhere. You can find like it's just a matter of finding like the right source, basically. But literally, as a like everything you want to know, anything you want, why is it like that? Google it, sort of thing. Like, you know what I mean? It's literally you have the access to the entire sum of human knowledge that we have had recorded so far anyways in your pocket. You can literally just reach out and touch it. It's crazy. It's literally mind-boggling.
That's the beauty of it.
Take advantage of it.
You have to, bro. There's people who are out there like who just with the same phone you're talking about, they have so many different ways of how to use it that we just don't even know about yet because we haven't chose to try to like literally go into the phone and click on different apps and understand what they really can do for you, and whether it's some type of health app that might be able to actually track your heart, how they have those watches that link to your phone and shit. I'm just saying, if that's the type of like, there's a lot of amazing things you can learn from just trying to educate yourself while using your phone. So it ain't always about IG pics and Facebook posts. Get your ass on an Audible or on a book site or something. Yeah, it's just something. But even with that,
Literally.
you want to make sure you vet. You want to make sure you vet your with Wikipedia because certain people can edit that. You know how it go. You want
Yeah.
to make sure you find the
Sources.
most valid source
Sources.
possible. But yes, but at the same time, yes, a beautiful thing as it is, my G, is educating the shit out yourself, and we have the tool to do it. The cell phone is one of the fucking most prominent, dominant thing in most people's, young people's lives, old people's lives. It doesn't matter. It's just one of the most prominent, dominant connecting things we have, tools we have. Use it. That's
Exactly.
kind of what I got.
Exactly. It's not all bad with it. It's like you said, it's not all Instagram and fucking Facebook. Like there's a lot of other things out there. Like explore your mind.
Yeah, man. I don't know. Like that's kind of where I'm at with it, bro. Like other than that, I'm doing well in health. Uh Taking my time, and next month gonna start this adult school and just get it popping, see what we can do with that, and just keep on growing like we were just talking about, man. You know,
You got to, like, you
all
really
the
have to. We can't be like
and
you said, if you're not growing, it's dead.
and it's like, don't get me wrong, it's never about judgment saying, because again, everyone's in their own mental space. You got to take your time and get to a place where you can start growing. But what I'm saying is, once you do start growing, that's just going to feel like one of the most amazing processes possible, because you know that it's beneficial, but it's also like self-inflicted in a good way. Like you're causing it yourself, you know?
Exactly. Exactly. You're doing it for
Yeah, man.
yourself and by yourself.
But I don't know. Do you have anything else you want to share, or how you feel
Oh
about?
man, I'm just I'm just out here, man. Just one day at a
Yeah,
time.
hey, Trent, hey, and that's all we can do, bro. And would you say any day above the ground is a good day type thing? Is
Every
that the
day above
expression?
ground is a good day.
Yeah,
And nothing's
there
over
you
till you're
go.
underground.
There you go. So with that being said, to the listeners, my name is Graham.
I'm Trent.
And it's another episode of Ultra Fly Talk. Thanks for rocking with us. My boy